Hello guys. Hello guys, did you miss me? Today I'm gonna to tell you about new topics in our lesson science lesson. Okay, let's start. Let me first time remind something about the previous lesson. We said the first times who was the scientist that invented the telescope. We said his name was Italian scientist Galileo. Okay, after Galileo we said that Newton came. Invent a modern telescope was a what? A modern telescope was Newton. After Newton's, who came? After Newton's, there is a scientist, a lot of scientists, they invented the telescopes in another ways, in a new moderns, okay? But after that, a new scientist comes. His name was Soviet Union. Invented what? Invented the satellite. Invented what? Invented satellites. Okay, students, did you remember that I asked you questions, how did the telescope help people learn about objects in space? Did you remember that? How the telescope is be helpful for us, helpful for pupils? Okay, we said the telescope magnify and or make larger the objects that in this ways help us to what? To see the space. Okay, now I'm gonna to tell about a new topics, a new things that we didn't do it before, the moons and beyond. Okay, let me to explain some things about the American project. What was American's project? It was a what? It was Apollo project. Apollo project, it was a project, then they sending 12 humans to the moon. 12 humans to the moon in the years of 1969, okay? 1972, okay? Then what they did, the astronauts set up experiments and brought back samples of rocks. It was what? It was helpful for scientists to what? To learn more about the moon. Okay? Did you get it now? What was the project Apollo? What was the project Apollo? It was American's program, the first American program, that they sent 12 humans to the moon and they brought back some samples of rocks from the moon. Okay, after that there is a space probe. A space probe, it means is a robot vehicle used to explore deep space. A space probe, it's a look like instruments, it's a look like a robot vehicle used to what? Used to finding the depths of a space. Okay, it's the usage to us to finding the depths of a space. It means if I ask you questions, what the space probe, you have to say it's a robot vehicle used to explore deep space. It's clear? Did you get it now? What the meanings of a space probe? It was what? It was a robot vehicle. Okay. Now, I'm gonna to tell you about a space suit. Look at her students, a space suit. Every time you asked me questions, you said to me, Miss, how the science will go to the space? How? It's be by their clothes. It's a good? No, it's not good. You have to wear, so the scientists, they have to wear what? They have to wear this clothes. Okay? Let me to explain this clothes. The first time, this ones. Look at this ones. Here we have what? The visor reflects. The visor, it's a look like a cup. Okay? It's a look like a cup. Reflect what? Reflect the sun's light. Reflect what? Reflect the sun's light. And here we have a what? A drinking bag. When the scientists will be thirsty, what they will do? They have a drinking bag in here. In where? In the inside helmets. Helmet, this one, it's a what? It's a helmet. It's a look like a cap. The scientists, they wear. Okay? And here we have a what? Medical monitor. Medical monitor, this one, it's for what? Medical monitor. It's for checking heartbeat and also for measuring the body temperatures. Okay? And here we have a what? We have the space suits. Space suits, what the space suits do? That protect the scientists or astronauts from what? From the cold and heat. From the cold and heat. And here we have a what? We have a gloves. Gloves, it's good for what? It's sometimes scientists, they use it for picking up and for anything else they can use it. The gloves, it's for their safety. And here we have a what? We have boots. Look, this one, it's a what? It's a boots. The scientists wear the boots for what? For walking on the moons. Okay? And here we have a what? We have a stretching mesh. And stretching mesh, it's a liquid cooled underwear. It means it's underwearing, but it's a liquid cooled. It's underwearing, but it's a liquid cooled. And here we have another thing. It means communications gear. Communication gear, it's a look like a cell phone. How the astronauts, they speak to each other, they talk with each other in a space. They use it this once. It's a what? It's a communications gear that they talk to each other by this communications gear. Did you get it now? Did you get it? Okay. Let's go to other paper. Okay. Now we have a what? Space exploration. In the future. Space explorations, it mean finding the space in the futures. It means finding life in other planets in the future. Is it good for life? Are other planets good for what? For life? Let me to say something about that. When the first scientists arrivals to the moon, it was what? In 2000s, in years 2000s. It means it was the first stage, the first steps of a scientist. They went to there, and it was a beginnings to the space explorations. And now the scientists, they observe, they suggest that maybe one day it could be possible that the lives will be on the moons and on the Mars too. But as yet, no plans to build a base on the moons as yet. But maybe one day it will be. Okay, and here we have a what? We have a questions. How could people live on the moon? How could people live on the moon? How they lived on the moons? If it's be plants, if the scientists observe that it will be lives on the moons, how it will be? Okay, they observed what? They observed the oxygens. There is oxygens from the moon. In where's? Inside the rocks. And here is a what? Here is a water in where they can take from the ice that's on the moon. And also there's what? They can produce electricity. Electricity from what? From the sun's energy, from the sun's light. Okay, let me ask these questions again. How could people live on the moon? How? Of course, by what? By the oxygens that could be taken from the rocks. Okay, the first of all. The second one, it's be by this water, it will come from the ice. And the third one, it's be electricity. The electricity, how they can make electricity? By this energy, it will come from the sunlight.